No, I'm really curious.
Well, we just went live, and I have the Totar Win team praying.
No more homo, erotic, erotic, Got it? Got it. Oh, jeez.
That audio is playing because I'm not hearing it, but it's okay. Which breaks my heart because I love that audio.
So much wang.
Totar Win. Oh yeah. No problem. Good morning. Wake the hell up. It's Thursday morning. That means it's time for a Totar Win. We got a good one this week. We're gonna look at Planned Parenthood's claims on Title 10 real quick. The nation's program for affordable birth control and reproductive health. Ooh. So Planned Parenthood claims that it uses this for wellness exams, life-saving cervical and breast cancer screenings, birth control, contraception education, testing and treatment for STDs, and HPI testing. Okay, so here's the thing. Planned Parenthood, we're done with that. We'll get back to this in a minute. We're actually going to look at a Vox article. I've got a couple of articles pulled up about this. So Planned Parenthood's claim is that it uses Title 10 money for, among other things, cancer screenings. There are zero Planned Parenthood facilities which are licensed for and house mammogram machines. Mammography is not available at Planned Parenthood. Same thing with cervical cancer screenings. Okay. Now, when what's her name, Richards, the president of Planned Parenthood, I think it's Cecile Richards, is that right? When she testified before Congress about it, she said, "Oh well, we refer out to hospitals." Oh, do you now? So if you're referring it out to a hospital, then what are we paying you for?
To kill babies in the womb? Duh.
No, but abortion is only 3% of Planned Parenthood's business, right? It's only 3% of the services they provide. Wait a minute. 3% of... Yeah, they like to say it's 3% of their business, and then they'll say it's 3% of the services provided. Those are two very different statements. 3% of your business and 3% of the services you provide are two very different statements. And, for example, if I sell cars and I sell $100 million worth of cars, and one of those cars was a $3 million McLaren, then that $3 million McLaren was 3% of my business. But it was significantly less than 3% of the services I provided. That's an important distinction there. And when you start running your mouth and playing slippery little side words like that, well, you're lying. You're absolutely lying. So here's what happened. According to Vox, earlier this year the Trump administration released a new rule that would bar organizations receiving Title 10 funding. The only federal funding for family planning from providing abortion referrals. Two lies in one sentence. Hey Cameron, can you spot the two lies in the one sentence?
Please, educate me. I still need to wake the hell up a little more.
Well, amusingly, Vox just goes right ahead and fact checks and debunks their own statement. This doesn't mean that the organization will lose all of its federal funding, as it receives $500 million from Medicaid a year. The only federal funding for family planning Okay. You got one lie in the sentence already, and you've debunked it in your own article, you lispy hack shitburgers.
To be fair, the lispy queer doesn't work for Vox.
I know. Okay. Real quick, nearly unrelated aside. Carlos Massa should sue Vox because the fact of the matter is, if you really, really look at what's going on here, Vox fired him for being a lispy queer.
Yes and no. They fired him because he caused so many problems. He was actually so effective in what he was trying to do, it wasn't worth it to him anymore. They'd become a lightning rod.
Yep. That's what I said.
Karma. Karma's a bitch, honey.
Ooh, God, don't ever do that. Don't ever make that. Don't ever make that noise again. There's a clip I need to pull. Don't ever make that noise again. You still haven't seen that movie.
I dare you. Pull that clip. Figure out a way to use it in a future show.
Okay. Guys, in September, we're filming a wine festival, which means that Cameron here is going to crash at my place one of the 2 nights of the wine festival at least. Because we're filming on Friday and Saturday, the wine festival, and then we're shooting some BFM stuff and EVA stuff, or EAV stuff, on Sunday. So on one of the nights that he's here, we're watching Gangs of New York. Damn it. And we might just have to watch it from the BFM couch and do like live commentary on it for chuckles. That might be a thing that has to happen, but you have got to see that film. Jesus.
Yeah, apparently I've got to know all about Bill the Butcher. But anyhow.
And the dead rabbits. But anyhow, so here's the other lie. Here's the other lie. The Trump administration released a new rule that would bar organizations receiving Title X funding. False. And let's see, I don't think they actually managed to debunk that one in here. No, they missed it. Okay. So the rule that they're talking about says that under Title X, Title X funds are supposed to go to providing health services. Under the Reagan administration, the caveat was made that those funds would not be given to an organization that referred patients for abortion. So this is not a new rule. It was in place as of Reagan, and it remained in place throughout the Reagan administration, through the first Bush, and then Slick Willie got rid of it. Slick Willie got rid of that rule. Because, as we all know, the Clintons need them some abortions. And that joke works on like 5 levels because I'm a genius. But before we go any further into it, I just want to say this. Planned Parenthood is losing $60 million in funding for baby murder. They have just been stripped of a substantial amount of taxpayer money, saving the lives of probably thousands of children at least. And as far as I'm concerned,
Total win. Total win. I don't give a rat's ass what the hell you think.
You got to keep me smart on this stuff, brother. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, that is an absolute total. I see this as an absolute win. So, how's about what? Do you have any more thoughts on this before I get into the peripheral information here?
I mean, basically, I really agree. We're not sacrificing little black babies to Moloch on the federal dime. That at the very least, that's an improvement. But I think calling it a Totar Win is so appropriate. Because never forget, um, the founder of Planned Parenthood, the great feminist herself, part of her goal with abortion was to have the undesirables, and yeah, she meant blacks, to abort their own babies, take themselves out of the gene pool.
Now, let me be very. I want to clarify what you're saying just a little bit. Just in case the audience, I know there might be one or two of you out there that don't know this. When Cameron says Margaret Sanger wanted to wanted to get rid of undesirables, and by that she meant blacks, he's not inferring. He's not assuming intent. He's not making assumptions based on evidence. No. She stated categorically that the purpose of her organization was to reduce and eventually eliminate the Negro population as she referred to it. It was her not assumed position, not implied position. It was her explicitly stated objective. It's part of the founding charter, part of the eugenics projects.
That's exactly right. She was fully committed to eugenics, and a lot of the eugenics types believed that black skin meant you had inferior DNA, just period.
Yep. And while my microphone is headed for the coffee cup, unacceptable. Okay, try that again, sweetheart. Okay. So I want to take one more minute to look at how it's getting spun. Planned Parenthood leaves federal program, loses funding for low-cost services. Planned Parenthood leaves federal program. All right. Planned Parenthood refuses federal funds over abortion rule. So the mainstream press would have you believe that Planned Parenthood is making a choice here. And there is some truth to that statement, because what has happened, what the rule is basically saying is, oh no, you can still have the federal money, but as a requirement to receive that federal money, you can no longer refer abortion. So Planned Parenthood is going to be standing up to the evil Donald Trump. They're going to give up that money. So they're going to give up that $60 million so that they can continue to perform abortions. Now, that unmasks the lie all by itself. That they would choose the abortions over the 60 million tells us two things. One, that the abortions net more revenue than $60 million, and that revenue is more important to them than the provision of the women's health services that they claim to need funding for. So we learn from this activity that Planned Parenthood is more interested in abortion than other health services, of which they provide almost zero. Because you can't just go into Planned Parenthood and get a pap smear. You can't go get a pap because it's your time, because it's your annual checkup or whatever. If you go to Planned Parenthood, you get a pap as part of being prepared to receive an abortion. You can get a sonogram as part of preparing to abort your baby. Right? When they say they provide, such and such services, and only 3% of those services are abortion, what they're doing is they're counting all of the services leading up to and including the abortion as individual services. But if McDonald's is selling you a soda pop and a French fry, an order of French fries with your cheeseburger, well, you went in there to buy a cheeseburger. Your peripheries, were maybe part of the decision-making process. Maybe you decided to go to McDonald's because you can get a combo meal that comes with a pap smear and a sonogram, and you didn't want to have to pay for them separately at Five Guys. But just because it's part of the package does not mean that the other service is separate if it's utterly incidental to the provision.
Yeah, I'm going to try and chew through this pretty quick because we're about to butt up against our time limit
Yeah,
here.
we're at 15 right now, so.
Okay. And I'm going to hit you with a pretty advanced concept, but it's something that anybody that catches... Yeah. It's something that you should consider before you take great offense to what I'm about to say. Here's one of the biggest problems with Planned Parenthood, the language that they use, women's health and all this other kind of stuff. It's pretty well known that Planned Parenthood is where you go to get an abortion. And Planned Parenthood exists to be able to provide abortions. Again, going all the way back to Margaret Sanger and how she wanted poor people, she wanted minority, she wanted the undesirables to take themselves out of the gene pool. Now, of course, they can't put that over their door, so they have to hide it underneath all this stuff about, we provide 12 services to women, 24 services to women. This is all about family planning, without telling you that almost exclusively what they plan for your family is for it to get smaller and not larger. Okay, let's be super clear about that.
Now real quick, just to remind everybody who's talking about this right now. You're talking to you're hearing from two men who are raising 4 children each. Okay? We have babies and raise them because it's what a man does. Okay? Propagation of the species is part of the rule. And even more than that, I have personally killed evil men to prevent them from continuing to murder children in war under the color of this great nation. Okay? The life and safety and well-being of children, before I hear any of you shitburgers with this, you don't want to take care of them once they're born. Shit right up your fucking lying nose. And raising babies is the work of men. Protecting babies is the work of men.
Providing
Adults
resources.
Raise families.
Yes. And it's funny that you mention that, because one of the things that you learn if you pay attention to guys like Jordan Peterson, Stefan Molyneux, and so forth, they talk about the women that have tried to have it all, or the women that have tried to put their career first and then maybe go back and potentially try and have a family later. I actually think that the woman that wrote Sex and the City, the novel or novels that stupid show was based off of, she released a statement recently that basically said, gosh, I might have been wrong. I'm old and I've got lots of money and I'm lonely. I don't have a husband or kids. Whoops. Maybe I should have made a different choice. And so back to Planned Parenthood, why they want to lie to you. If you really want to destroy or change a culture, you go after the women. You don't go after the men, because the men, by and large, are actually going to be dictated by what the woman decides. And in a civilized society, this is going to be the case. Just period. We don't have a patriarchy. I'd argue we even have a bit of a matriarchy. We worship the vagina because we are awed by the power of creation that rests solely with the woman. The fact that she can grow another human being and that her body is designed to be able to do it is awe-inspiring. And yes, in fact, I am making the case that biologically speaking, a woman's primary function is to bear children. We don't have women. We don't have a human race anymore. And living beings have got an innate desire to pass along their genetics. It's just part of what has made the species survive. So back to Planned Parenthood. And it's lies, it's abortions, it's whatnot. The fact that they even try and push people toward abortions. It is my sincere belief that the way that an abortion psychologically affects a woman is so profound. You change her forever if you convince her to have one. And let's say you're 16 years old, you get pregnant, you go to Planned Parenthood, terrified, obviously. Well, now most states, they don't even alert your parents. They don't have to. You can go to Planned Parenthood. They can talk you into an abortion. And now you've got a scarlet letter. But you wear this scarlet letter on the inside, not the outside. You know you terminated your pregnancy. And what probably happens to you is you become a left-wing voter for life. You cannot consider any right-wing position. You cannot consider fiscal conservatism. You cannot consider trickle-down economics. You can't consider school vouchers, anything that's typically a right-wing position. It has to all be incorrect. Because as soon as you accept a single right-wing position as incorrect, if you are a thinking person, you eventually get to the point to where you ask the question, did I make a terrible mistake? Did I kill my baby? Did I just screw up royally in one of the worst possible ways that I could screw up? You know, it's sort of like if you're a drug dealer. You're not very interested in statistics about addiction. You're not very interested in statistics about the relative poverty rate of the area that you sell drugs to, because all of us, even most criminals, are not actually sociopathic. There is an internal thing inside you that doesn't want the cognitive dissonance of saying, I don't feel like a bad person, but I'm doing bad things. And I submit that for women, there is nothing more damaging to a woman's psyche than an abortion. And I'm even including things like rape and molestation. Not that those things aren't terrible, they are, but rape is something that's done to you. An abortion is a thing you choose. And none of us want to believe we made a bad choice. It's an extremely difficult lesson to learn, to realize that when something is your fault, when you made a mistake, that's actually secretly a blessing in disguise. Because if it's your fault, if it's your mistake, you have an opportunity to fix it. Except, can't really undo an abortion, can you? You make that mistake, buddy, you gotta live with it. You just have to live with it. And so you're probably a pussy hat wearing Democrat voter for life once you have an abortion. Planned Parenthood is evil. It is Saul Alinsky and Marx, and we're just going to sacrifice a few babies to Moloch so that we can have useful idiots for, well, basically forever.
All right.
I'm done. There you go.
Yeah, we're up against the time, and I still have something else that I wanted to. We're going to it more, but I want to point out also this is a major win because, and I know my audio quality just changed, so it just went wrong with my main microphone, so I had to switch over to the camera. Are you getting audio from me, Cameron?
I hear you.
Okay. Looks like I'm blowing out the source there. So, yeah, we've been having a couple of audio issues over here, guys. I apologize for that. Okay, but this, the final reason, the final reason that I want to point out that this is a major win Planned Parenthood is like so many other immoral left-wing organizations. It's essentially a money laundering operation for the Democrat Party. Taxpayer money goes in, Democrat voting contributions come out. So you have organizations on the right that contribute money to Republican campaigns, like the NRA. And I love it every time. Every time there's a shooting, you see lefties come out and say, "See, people getting murdered by your thing. We should defund the NRA. If you want to defund Planned Parenthood, you should want to defund the NRA." And my immediate response is always, "Hell yeah, let's do it. No more tax money to Planned Parenthood or the NRA. Yeah, let's do it. Oh yeah, hey, the NRA doesn't get any tax money. It's entirely privately funded. That's the thing." On the right, the organizations that do lobbying, that do make contributions, those are funded by private individuals. I make contributions to the NRA. I'm a lifetime member. And they've done some things that I'm not particularly fond of, but I can't unlifetime join. I guess I could, but it would be a gesture. It wouldn't have a functional use. Anyway, on the left, you have large organizations like Planned Parenthood, like AFL-CIO, groups like that, where taxpayer money goes into the organization and then it goes back into the Democrats. It gets more Democrats elected so that they can increase the amount of money that goes into the money laundering operation, so that the money laundering operation has more money to dump into the DNC, and it's a vicious swirling spiral of stealing your money. Large left-wing political organizations like Planned Parenthood essentially have a gun that they use to steal your money to do the things that you don't want to do. So if you're a Democrat, the money that is stolen from you by the government to fund organizations like Planned Parenthood's murder campaigns is going to things that you want to support. And it's not going to things that you don't want to support. If you're a conservative who supports life and liberty, who thinks that children are human, who believes that babies are still people and shouldn't be murdered because it's convenient, and think that it's immoral to use force against another person for your personal convenience and entertainment, well, if you're a conservative, you're forced, whether or not you contribute to conservative organizations, you're forced at gunpoint by the government to contribute to organizations that you oppose. So money is taken out of my pocket to murder children entirely against my will and at gunpoint. So this goes in the total win category. I'm going to hit you with it one more time.
Total win. Total win. Total win. Total win. Total win. I don't give a rat's ass what the hell you think.
And that's the show. Wake the hell up, people. It's a beautiful day outside. The sun's coming up. Get out and go to work. Have a hell of a great day. We'll see you tomorrow morning for Firearms Friday. And remember, if you build a man a fire, you'll keep him warm for the evening. But if you set a man on fire, he'll be warm for the rest of his life. See you tomorrow.